What's up, family? It's Caden with Urban Finance. I hope you're enjoying your Sunday. And if you went to church, I hope you had a blessed time. I am here today with Kyle O'Neill, co founder of FMB Trucking. And Kyle is actually my blood brother. So I'm very excited to have this conversation today about how to start a six-figure trucking company just in a few years. But before we go into the nitty gritty and Kyle share all the tea to tell people a little bit about yourself, Kyle.
Well, first off, yes, like Caden said, my little big brother. My name is Kyle O'Neill. Originally from Trinidad and Tobago. Came to the U.S. when I was young. I have two siblings, one that's interviewing me and another younger one. And also raised by a single parent. Also the co-owner of FMB Trucking, LLC.
Nice, nice. Awesome. And who is the co-founder or co-owner along with you, if you don't mind me asking real quick?
Oh, the co-founder is Jamel Yeomans, which is my best friend / brother also. Good friend of mine. Grew up together.
Awesome, awesome. And so can you tell me, what made you decide to start a trucking company?
Honestly, what made me decide to start a trucking company was a conversation I had with friends one time. One of my friends from North Carolina, his friend and his wife had a trucking company, and they were telling us about it. And they were telling us, hey, you know what? We have this trucking company, and we made this much money, but we don't work that much. So that kind of like enticed me, like, whoa, you don't work that much, and you make this much money. So if I got into something like that, with my work ethic that I figured I will be able to maximize or make double what they make. So that's what kind of gave me the drive to start doing research and looking into getting into trucking and stuff like that.
Nice, nice. No, that is pretty cool. Because growing up, I mean, I didn't know you to be particularly interested in trucks or trucking in general. And so, not to say that, you would have started a barbershop or something like that, but I was curious why you went about starting the trucking company as opposed to a barbershop when I know, you used to cut my hair growing up. So that was, that would seem like it was an interesting or direct move to something that you were already doing, kind of, sort of. But it's interesting, meeting with friends. If you guys are now joining us, I am here with Kyle O'Neill, co-founder of F&B Trucking. Let us know in the comment section if you're watching. If you have any questions at all for Kyle, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll be sure to ask it to him as we continue this interview. If maybe you're looking to start a trucking company, or maybe you're looking to start a business, I'm sure Kyle can give you some insights in terms of things that may have worked or haven't worked for him. And so I guess, what type of startup capital do you need to start a trucking company?
Startup capital, honestly, it depends on where you coming into the trucking. So there's different types of trucks. So you can start off with, like, they have cargo vans, they have the 26, the box trucks, and then they have the 53 foots, the flatbeds, and so on. So it depends on where you're coming in. For us, where we started, what capital we need, you need from like $30,000 to, I would say, $40,000. And you also need to have money in your savings, for the simple fact that trucking is something that comes with a lot of headaches or mechanical issues with your truck, which could cost you big bucks when you're starting up. So, yeah.
I guess, how much money would you recommend people have in their saving in addition to the $30,000 to $40,000 to start off with their first truck? And can you tell the people what type of truck you first started off with?
I first started off with a 26-foot box truck. That's the biggest box truck in the box trucks. If you're doing, there's 24, 20-foot box trucks. So we started off with a 26. And you will need to have capital, I would say at least $10,000 in your savings. And you should be fine.
Nice, nice. And so, that does seem like a good bit of capital to have. And so did you guys save up the capital? Do you guys take out a loan in order to get the capital to start up and get your first truck?
Well, me and my friend Jamel, we saved up for a long period of time.
Mm.
So that's what helped us. We had a plan. We planned together. We was like, we're gonna save and we're gonna make an investment together, which made it easier. If you have a partner to invest with, it makes it easier on you as far
Mm.
as making the investment work and having somebody, to lean on if when problems come that can help you keep the business going for longevity.
Nice. And so, how long did you guys, I guess, save up for? Can you give us a length of time? Was it a year? Was it 6 months?
It was over a year. Over a year, we saved up.
No, I think that is so impressive, and I'm someone that, as you know, that is huge on delayed gratification, and to get together with a friend and be like, hey, let's save up together for a year and get the capital to start a business, start a trucking company. I think that shows a lot of initiative, and
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing to be quite frank about it. Uh, I'm reading a book right now, and I think it's called Our Black Year, where this couple, Maggie something, forgetting her last name, her and her husband and her family, she had two children. They went a whole year of trying to just buy black from black businesses. And what they found out that there's really not that many black businesses out there. And if you're trying to do something like that, it's very hard to buy black from a black business. And one of the reasons is that black people seem not to start businesses in mass. One of the reasons being startup capital. But this idea that you can get together with a friend or somebody else to do that, I think is something that more people should consider. I've always heard this saying that don't do business with family, and sometimes people put that same saying and don't do business with friends necessarily. And I've asked myself the question, where does that saying come from? And what you would find if you ask the average black person if they know someone who has a family members that did a business together and failed, the answer will probably be no. And I know it will probably be no, because if you ask someone that is black that actually even knows someone who owns a business, more times than not. Thank you, brother man. Maggie Anderson is the person that I'm trying to think about who did the study and who and her husband wrote this book. It's an amazing book. I just finished reading it. And so thank you, brother man, for sharing that. But I thought the book was so powerful because it shows not necessarily how hard it is to start a business in the black community, but how much people do not because they don't have the means. And delayed gratification is one of the ways that we couldn't get there, working with family, working with friends, compared to the current mindset that people may have of you don't do business with friends or you don't do business with family. When if you ask if you ask anyone where that saying comes from, if they actually know someone who had a business with a friend or family and it failed, they probably do not, because most black people don't own businesses and don't know other black people that owns businesses in general. So for me, that is inspiring right there. And so can you share about how do you know when to go to the next truck? And so you guys start off with one truck. How do you know that, okay, I think we're ready for a second truck? Or a third truck.
Our profits. So let's say, we got a second truck. I want to say 6 months into business. We sacrifice a lot. So that comes with building anything. Is you have to sacrifice a lot. We sacrificed a lot for the first 6 months. It was rough. We had a lot of setbacks, but we purchased a truck. Well, now trucking business is booming because there's a bunch of courses. A lot of people are selling it now. When we got into it, it wasn't this hot, I guess. So trucks were cheaper back then. So now when we got our second truck, it's the same thing. You got to have $10,000. Every truck needs like $10,000 saved for it, just in case of any emergency, to get you through the first 2-3 months with the truck.
And is that $10,000 in addition to whatever you have to pay?
Whatever the truck costs,
for the truck costs. And when you said there are additional expense, can you tell me again what type of expensive those are? Is just like mechanical expenses or just to keep the truck on the road?
Well, if you get into the trucking business, one of the best advice I could give you is start off working the truck yourself. One, so you can learn the field. Two, so you can grow your profits faster, so you don't have to pay a driver out. When you get to a situation where your system is running comfortable, then you can put a driver in your truck, and that way you will have money saved from you sacrificing, not having to pay out a lot to a driver. So you have gas, you have tolls if you operate in New York City, which is a killer for us because we operate in New York City.
Yeah.
You have
And so,
mechanical issues, which is probably the biggest problem with trucks.
I guess how much money would you say you make per truck?
It's up and down. To give you a scale, it depends. Like I said, it depends on how hard you're working, how good your dispatch team is. So I could tell you a number, and somebody else could be watching the interview and be like, "Hey, I know somebody in the truck," but they don't get those numbers because it's all in the hustles. How hard your driver is going. Is your driver working those 12 hours a day, running 11 hours? Are you doubling up on your loads? Are you tripling up on your loads for the week? So minimum, I would say 3,000. Max, you're trying to get to 6,000 per truck. And that's on a box truck. That's not a 53-foot truck. So that's what we try to do. I don't know what other trucking companies are doing.
No, that's good to know. So $3,000 to $6,000 a month per truck.
No, weekly.
Oh, that sounds a lot better. That sounds actually really good.
Weekly.
And I think one of the things I do like about the trucking industry or the trucking business is that, to some degree, you can potentially get the work to match how hard you want to work. And so to say, like, if you want to go super hard for, let's say 10 years, you can go super hard and make a lot of money in 10 years. And then maybe take it a little easier here, let's say 10 to 20. And so I think that's really important to identify and to know. But that's really good money. Let's say you're making $5,000 a month.
That's a good week. That's
$5,000 per truck. That's $20,000 on one truck in a month. And that's amazing. And so I guess, like you mentioned, when you get your first truck, you guys actually drove that yourself. And then when you get your second truck, you actually then start getting drivers to drive those trucks for you. I guess.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, fortunately for our situation, I had, like you said earlier, with the whole having a partner or investing with family or someone to help you, that when we got our second truck, me and my business partner drove both trucks till we was able to. So that helped a lot. That's why having a team is key to becoming successful. That's what I believe.
And so when you got your third truck, that's when you really needed another driver, because you guys kind of did the first truck by yourself and working. And since you can kind of get as much work as you want, you guys can both work together or split those shifts with that one truck and then move on two trucks separately. So now you're both driving your own truck. And then with the third truck, now you have a driver who's not necessarily a co-founder of the business that is operating a new truck. And then so I guess my question will be, obviously, when you have now a driver, you have to pay them and things like that. How do you guys pay your drivers? So because obviously that will cut into the profits of that truck, which makes sense. And it's good because that's purely passive income as a business kind of is as the owner. And so can you break down what a truck makes when it now has a driver, so the pay for the driver, things of that nature?
So we kind of give our driver initiatives to want to drive more and want to work longer hours. So the more money they bring in weekly, the more money they make. So it's varies. So if they make $3,000, they will make less than they will make if they make $5,000. But if they work a good week, they get from $1,000 to $1,400 a week.
$1,000 to $1,400, and that's pretty good. That can be maybe $4,000 a month. And I know a lot of people that are not making that right now, and that can make a huge difference. And so that is pretty interesting. And I think one of the beautiful things is this: as a business grows, you can continually add trucks to some degree. And so how did you go about getting your LLC for the company? And what type of license do drivers need in order to drive these type of trucks?
Well, we started our LLC in North Carolina. Just going to an accountant, paying, getting it set up. And to start getting the trucking company is 2 licenses you need. Well, they come together. The US DOT number, and you also need an MC number. And when you get those licenses, you're in the trucking game.
Nice, nice. And so each driver would need those licenses. Is it usually hard to find drivers with those licenses? What are some of the challenges, I guess, you guys have faced so far for your company and within the trucking industry?
Well, drivers don't need the license. The trucking company does. So once you get your MC number, that's an MC US DOT number. That's something that goes on the side of every truck that you purchase. So your drivers just run under that number. They just need a driver's license. Well, box trucks, you don't need a CDL. So that's another reason why I got into it, because it was easier for us to start driving instead of having to go take a CDL course, driving classes, and then trying to get into a 53-foot box truck. But anything under 26,000 pounds, you don't need a CDL license to drive. You can drive with a regular driver.
Oh, wow, that's pretty good. Brother Man has a question for you. I work with a lot of young brothers that have felonies. Is this something they can get into?
Yeah, 1,000%. They could get into trucking. A lot of guys that are into trucking are people with felonies that have a record that can't, get a job somewhere else. So they could definitely start their own LLC. Nothing stops you from starting your own business. People stop working for them. But if you want to be somebody and make yourself something, you could. Nothing's going to stop you from that.
No, and I think this is so important because it's such an easy, and I'm saying easy. I know, like you mentioned, there are probably a lot of challenges, a lot of obstacles that come, and even needing the startup capital in to get the box truck to get your first truck. And I guess I'm not sure if you know, because it seems like you guys saved up to purchase all of your trucks, but is it relatively easy to get a loan for these type of trucks? I know maybe it may be harder with someone with a felony, but just in general, because maybe let's say someone with a felony, dad or uncle or family says, okay, we're going to buy this truck for you, and you just have to give us the money to pay back the loan, and then you just have to make sure you're diligent to work hard and make money with this truck. Is it hard to get a loan for trucks? Because I know one of the big things with Black people starting businesses is hard to get a loan as a Black person to start a business. But I figure since it's so easy to get a car loan, to get a truck loan may be easier. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I never tried to get a loan for trucking, to be honest with you. So I don't know if it's easy or hard. I never wanted to put myself more in debt and lose profit. So that's why we more save and buy it. So I never tried to get a loan. I don't know if it's easy or hard to get a loan.
And so that would be something for, if anyone in the comments section, or if anybody watching this want to take a quick Google search. I don't know if you'll find anything or not, or maybe you do have a trucking business or know someone. Feel free to drop it in the comment section if you know. But I think one of the things that I already love about this trucking business, and this is the thing that Brother Man highlighted, is that as a community we can help people who are, I guess, citizens that are coming back into our life or coming back in, get a job through this. And they don't necessarily even have to be the person that starts the business. It can be someone like you who starts the business and, have a job waiting for them. And one of the big things that I love is economic empowerment. And one of the big ways to do that is by creating jobs. But you mentioned that the trucking business, there are a lot of classes and stuff going on right now. Do you know what that's about? Do you know why it's becoming so popular?
I guess people are making people aware that there's money to be made. So people are seeing it like, I can sell this course, and people get into the trucking. They sell courses, like basically the questions you're asking me, they answer in the course and they sell it to you. How to start your trucking, the things to do, the loading boards to go, check how to get loads, stuff like that. Which is a good thing. That's opening doors for a lot of people to, financially support their family.
And so the loading boards that's how you get new businesses. Can you And I'll ask, is that correct? And can you explain a little more about what that process is like? Maybe mention some loading boards if you know, and things like that.
I don't know if I want to mention the loading board I'm using.
Well,
It's a hustle.
you know,
Everybody
like trying to steal my business. No, I respect that. And so, you know, go ahead.
But yeah, nah, there's a couple loading boards there. There's a couple of companies too. When you start doing business, they'll just call you, so you don't have to. The longer you're in the game, the easier it becomes. So the better business you do, more people want to work with you. So you know, you get into the. It's just a lot of loading boards out there. It's a lot of different loading boards. There's a lot of different companies that will just call you when you get into the game. So for me, giving out a loading board is a little risky for me. Might take a load I need to get on Monday.
I respect that, you know, and people can go out there. I'm pretty sure it's easy to find loading boards by just Googling loading boards. So, you know, if you are interested in starting a trucking business, you know, you can probably just start off by Googling loading boards. But can you explain, I guess, how that process works? Like, you know, what do you have to do, that type of thing with the loading board?
Well, the loading boards, you can only get it signed up for most loading boards that I know of. It's if you have your MCDOT number and insurance. So that's something that all companies want to see. They want to see that you have your MC certificate. They want to see that you have your insurance and also a W-9. So once you have your MC number, you could go on Google, research loading boards, find the best one, read about them, see the benefits they have. It's basically like a site where you go to and they post daily jobs. You can search in the area that you are. So let's say you live in New York City. You'll type in New York City. You'll put a radius of how far you're willing to drive to pick that load up. And that's basically it. That's why I said it's like a hustle. So you got to wake up. You always got to be on the computer. You got to stay real attentive to the loading board because people are calling dailies and they're selling courses. So more people are getting onto trucking. So the loads will probably go faster than it would if there are less people doing trucks.
Nice. That's awesome. And so if you're just joining me, I'm here with Kyle O'Neill, co-founder of FMB Trucking. If you have any questions at all for him, just, you know, drop them in the comment section. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, just smash that like button. That really helps the channel out. You know, shout out to Laverne, you know, Edwards. He said, good advice, safe then buy. And, you know, one of the big things about this channel and myself is that I am big about, you know, doing things without utilizing debt. And so, you know, the way that you have decided, you and Jamel started this company, and the way that you're running this company, to me, is extremely impressive, with a very low debt ratio. And so I think it's a beautiful thing that you're doing. And I think, you know, you're going to help a lot of people out who needs a job. And so I guess, what's your vision for this company, let's say, in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, my 5-year vision was we was trying to get to 5 trucks, own 5 trucks within the 5 years, but we're already at 3 trucks in 2 years. So it looks like that's going to, you know, it's going to be more than 5 trucks in 5 years. But yeah, I'm just trying to grow the company. Everybody I hired is people I grew up with. So that's honestly one of the best feelings out of it. I'm working with all my friends. So it's a great feeling. And whoever thought I'd be paying somebody else $1,000, $200 a week.
No, man, I think, you know, and like you said, you know, I think one of the best feelings is, you know, to be able to give somebody a job. I think it's something that is absolutely needed right now. And so, you know, kudos for you for, you know, you and Jamel for, you know, doing the due diligence to figure out what you need to start this business, and for, you know, giving back, paying it forward by, you know, hiring your friends, hiring people that you grew up with, hiring people in your community, hiring people that need it. Someone's just joining us. Bone says, what's the average cost of a truck? And I know you answered that before. And just so you guys know, Bones is another one of my brothers.
What's up, Bones? The average course, if you're trying to get into box trucks, remember I'm speaking about box trucks. I'm not speaking about 53-foot drop-ins. So
Yeah, yeah.
box trucks, the price range you could, depending on the mileage and stuff, just like cars, it range from 25,000 to right now they're going from 25 to 45,000. I try to stay in the 30,000 range to get a fairly good truck.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and I know, just, sharing information that I don't even need to share. But I hit Kyle up the other day and I was like, yo, I'm gonna buy a truck and you gonna manage it with your company for me, because I just think it's a beautiful, passive investment strategy. Like Kyle mentioned, his first truck they drove, their second truck they drove, and when they got to their third truck, they hired somebody else. Now, maybe the fourth or fifth truck, that would be my truck that, I have him buy, give him that $30,000. And, we'll split the profit, the driver, and then you as the business owner, and he is one of the investors. But, I think it's something that, that can continue to expand. And I think it's something that's beautiful because you determine who works for you. And, you can give the job to someone that truly needs it, someone that is truly going to hustle. And I think companies like these, it's so important right now as we are in this era of which is buy black. And this is, anybody can use this information, obviously. But, I'm a black man, you're a black man, and we know what it is to be black in America. And one of the things is black people are usually the last hired and first fired. But when we run the business, we can change that. And so, what you're doing is an amazing thing. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, like I said, hit the like button. That really makes a difference to get this information out here. Again, I am here with Kyle O'Neill, my brother from the same mother. My
little big brother.
And you've always been a good big brother, so I thank you for that. If you're new to this channel, you may not know my personality very much, but I'm pretty much a hardcore saver. I believe in saving money. And Kyle, as my big brother, I would say I talk about money personalities. His money personalities will be more of a spender. And that has blessed me because in high school, I was one of the freshest kids because I wore all his clothes. And people probably thought I spend a lot of money. It was just because, I had a big brother who I can wear his clothes. And so, I thank you for that as well. That has been a blessing to me. And so I guess before we go, do you have any last bit of advice, suggestions for the people? I can't hear you. I know it shows that your internet connection is low. So I don't know if your sound dropped off. I still can't hear you. So we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here. So give us a few seconds and we'll see if we can get Kyle audio to work again. So maybe we'll do a part 2. Kyle is still here with us. I can see him, but it looks like he's having some audio issues. And so I just want to say thank you for everyone that is joining. Laverne, if you have any questions for Kyle at all, just drop them in the comment section below. And if you're watching this video live on YouTube or Facebook, just leave a comment saying hello so I can see you, I can recognize you. One of the things that I love doing is recognizing the people that continue to support this channel and support this movement. Because one of the things we really want to do is, share the secrets, pay it forward on how to start businesses, because that's how we employ our community. Laverne said, thank you. And Kyle for all the advice and business knowledge. And so, I'm actually going to end it here because I still can't hear Kyle. But thank you again for watching. Kyle, like I said, you're an amazing big brother, and I appreciate what you're doing in life right now. I appreciate the fact that you're doing this business that is helping the community out. Like I always say on this channel, God bless you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And remember to live your best life.